Hello, and welcome to Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo.
I'm Nick.
Another great week, another great episode coming at you. Good to be back, guys. Episode 86 of Pressing Buttons. Coming hot with some video game news. But before we give you guys some video game news, we wanted to give you a PSA, a public service announcement. As it is Thanksgiving week here in the States, for those international audiences, because we do have an international audience, somewhat. We will not be releasing an episode next week. So, use that time to catch up on some old episodes. I am working on releasing our Buttons Pressed Spider-Man 2 review on audio. Right now, it's only on video through our YouTube channel. But, you'll be able to do that. I'll try to release it before the break, so you guys can listen to that at least, or just catch up on any of our old episodes, because they're good. We make good content, at least we think. But yeah, that's it. That's the only PSA we got. Thanksgiving break, so no episode next Monday from this one. All right. And we're going to start right off with some video game news. Last week we did the Game Awards. We went over all the categories, and there was some news throughout the week that we didn't cover. So we're going to cover most of that. And then some news that came out this week as well. First thing we want to talk about is that Sony announced that they were delaying 6 of their 12 live service game projects to 2026 and beyond. And then that they were cutting down to 12 projects. So that's a big thing. Nick and I have been talking about a lot lately about the live service games. It seems to be the model that everybody's kind of going for in the future. They want that constant stream of revenue to be coming in. So everybody's kind of opting into live service games, which might not be necessarily the best thing. As we see with a lot of the live service projects, they do kind of end up getting shuttered after a couple months or even a year, because they're not doing so well. It's hard to grasp the attention of a gamer in terms of keeping them coming back to the game. Most notably recently, obviously Destiny has had its ups and downs, and right now it's going through one of those downs. The player base is low. The community morale is also low. And they're kind of stuck in a flux of not knowing what the future holds for it. So that's pretty dire stuff. Kind of weird that they announced this so blatantly. Obviously, we don't know what these projects are. They did say that they wanted to do these projects. I believe they announced it last year, or when they acquired Bungie, right?
Yeah, I think it was about a year ago, and it was done in this like very corporate meeting where they're just like kind of talking about overall Sony strategy, and of which PlayStation is one of the crown jewels of Sony corporate. So I feel like they dropped it in some sort of like press release or strategy presentation. And yeah, I think they're just providing an update. And again, I think this update's mainly targeted towards investors and those types of people. But of course, people like us in games media are very interested in these types of things.
Yeah, we got to jump on it. And the thing is, too, we haven't seen what any of these projects are. Obviously, the only one that they've really talked about, I would say, is The Last of Us Factions. But that in itself is kind of put on the back burner because after being reviewed by Bungie itself with their live service expertise, they didn't really like what they were seeing. And a lot of the studio has moved on to their next project, whatever that is. So it's pretty interesting to see that them actually just come out and say that they will be delaying a lot of these, and they canceled a bunch, especially with everything going on, especially over at WB Studios, that they want to make live service games as well. What do you think? Is this going to affect how people perceive Sony in the future? You think this hurts them a lot just for their ambition?
I need to go back to the tapes because I'm pretty sure when they made this claim, I'm pretty sure I was like, "There's no fucking way that happens."
Yeah, I think I remember you saying that. You're pretty right about these things.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, if it was true, that would have been like one of the most insane gaming announcements of all time. That magically Sony's going to have 15 titles released over the next couple years, and like that's just like what? So So my speculation is that there's just like lots of corporate politicking and corporate strategy stuff that put a lot of pressure on the PlayStation team to like make that type of statement. I'm sure they're actually, at that time they were actually um, reallocating and acquiring new resources to create live service games, but like that specific number just sounded so insane to me that I thought there was like no way that they were able to execute that. So this made sense. I would need to remember like the timeline of this, but like pretty interesting that call it, I think it was like 12 months ago maybe, or maybe even less. So that's like pretty soon after they made such a claim, I think, to then like backtrack on it so severely that they were off by basically over like half, over 50%. Like that's a pretty bad planning. And yeah, like, so I wasn't surprised by this, just given my initial kind of take on the announcement. Uh, and you kind of get the feeling that what is the PlayStation Live Service strategy? Like they're talking about all these titles, but still nobody really has any clue like what they mean. So is it actually like new titles using new IP or existing IP, or is it them just kind of like relabeling a game that they're already working on and just calling it a live service game? So I don't know. If anything, I thought this was just kind of amusing. Uh, would be my take on it.
Was just also very impactful because we don't know what Sony's. I mean, we know what their future kind of offering is in terms of some of the stuff that they're working on. But this year, like with Spider-Man being like their last thing that they offered for the year, and then early in the year they had Horizon, and then next year we don't know what they got really planned. Like they don't have any big titles that we know of. Most of them that are announced are mostly third party. Whatever Naughty Dog's working on, we probably know that's a year or two off, not 2024. Wolverine, from the rumblings, it's either going to be late 2024 or 2025. Sucker Punch, I know they're probably working on Ghost of Tsushima 2. And then Sony Santa Monica, the other big one, is there's rumors that they're working on some maybe God of War DLC, or they're also working on a new project. So to do this, it's kind of weird to see because we don't know what their slate is, and they have such a lead, especially in compared to like what Microsoft is doing and Nintendo's doing. You don't want to see them squander it, which I don't think they will, but I do want to know what games I'm going to be playing on PlayStation besides the AAA ones from third parties.
Yeah, yeah. I would add like this is specifically like talking about their live service games. So I don't know if it necessarily has like a big impact in terms of what we would expect from Sony's overall first party studio slate. Uh, but it does suggest that there's kind of like a rebalancing of live service games. I think they're still placing a big bet on it, but it's like not as extreme as it was maybe a year or 2 years ago, where I think they're just getting a whiff of like call it like the Hoyoverse money, where it's like Genshin Impact and those types of games, and free to play games and live service games. If there's a hit, it just makes such an astronomical amount of money. So I think that's what they're chasing, but we've just seen so many failed live service games. So in terms of like the probability of them becoming a success, maybe they got a little bit gun shy with like, oh, okay, maybe we need to pull back a little bit, just because we're not as optimistic as we were that all of these were going to be, the next Genshin Impacts. But yeah, with that being said, like, it's basically like maybe Wolverine, and I think they just announced Last of Us Remastered, or Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which is like,
Yeah.
does that need? do we need that? We arguably didn't need it for part one, and then you kind of feel like you really.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you didn't need it because I feel like a lot of people didn't play it. So especially getting on the heels of the show, you want that to be out there again in people's consciousness. So I think it's fine. I think it is needed. And as far as live service games, I don't know if did you ever play the SOCOM on PS3?
Yeah,
Like the big one that they had where it was online and you could they would have big battles and stuff like that. And also Warhawk. Did you play Warhawk?
I don't know. I didn't play Warhawk.
Yeah, so I
but
think,
I know I'm familiar with it. But
yeah,
I didn't play it.
I feel like those would be titles that would be prime for something like live service, especially from them, especially because they are Sony franchises. It's just I don't think for the time they were released, I think they were like early prototypes of what live service could be. They didn't have a battle pass or anything like that, but in terms of being online all the time and the things that you could do, and with how many other people you could play, it was a fun thing. They just didn't really last that long. If I remember, Warhawk was one of the first actual PlayStation games to get trophies, that and like Uncharted. So those were pretty fun. I'm thinking it's probably going to be something like that, or at least one of those. SOCOM, I know people have been kind of clamoring for a while. So it'll be interesting to see what those games are. Hopefully we get more news in the future. Game Awards coming up, so we might get some reveals. We'll have to do our bingo. That might be one of the bingos.
SOCOM or just any new PlayStation
service title, live service title announced. And then the next bit of news we want to talk about, which you touched up on, is The Last of Us 2 Remastered. We want to do our thoughts on that. Obviously, I think it's justified to be able to have this release. I played it when it came out on PS4, but I didn't finish it. I think I had I was sharing my account with one of my friends, so they bought it. So then I couldn't play it on PS5, so that kind of sucks. But I think it's good to just have it for people to be able to play it, because obviously unless you have the disc version, you can't really upgrade it. And it's a little bit more of a remastered because they are going to have some stuff added to it. They're going to have a new mode added to it. They're going to have some 3 new levels that weren't finished, developer type, and New Game Plus. So I think that's pretty fun. It's a new experience for people that never got to play it, and if you did play it, you could just play it again, because The Last of Us right now is in people's conscience. So I think it's definitely something that people should be playing. It is weird though, and I did have to look up this timeline in terms of what Naughty Dog has been releasing, because they haven't really released anything new. They've kind of been banking on The Last of Us or Uncharted stuff, but it looks like their track record for new games has been at least good. From releasing the original Uncharted to the Last of Us 2, their track record was like every 2 or 3 years they would release a new title. So it went from like Uncharted 1, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, then the one with the 2 girls, I forget the name of that one, then The Last of Us, then The Last of Us Left Behind, then Uncharted 4, and then The Last of Us 2. So I do just want to see something new from Naughty Dog. Obviously, with them working on factions and that not going well, we haven't really heard anything. There's been shakeups in the studio itself in terms of management and stuff like that. And they kind of taken a back burner. They kind of taken a back seat in terms of Sony's leading studios, especially with Insomnia kind of taking the charge. But it's good to have these studios that do great work, because you could just swap around, and when one's not doing good, the other one will cover the slack. What do you think of the remaster? What are your complete thoughts on that?
I'm still butthurt about the PC port of the Part 1 remaster.
Yeah, but this isn't a PC port. It's going to be a full PlayStation.
So I'm just, because I wasn't big on Last of Us to begin with. So I think I had the first remaster for Last of Us Part 1 on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
and then I just, I played the game and I was just like, yeah, just whatever, like kind of typical. That's been my typical experience with Naughty Dog games is I buy them and I get bored after like a few hours and I just move on with my life. But then the HBO, like I love the HBO series, so that was kind of like the hook that brought me back into the IP, and they timed it very well with the PC port. So I figured like, okay, let me just play this on PC. And then the launch of that was like an absolute disaster. Like the game was basically unplayable. Maybe it's better now, but
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
kind of
say
just
maybe it's
like,
good now.
yeah, I'm just like I tried so hard to play this game, and it just doesn't work for me. So yeah, maybe it's like kind of what you're saying. Like, I think it makes sense that they would remaster this so that it's in parity with what they did with Part One. So for the people who came into Part One, the remaster, they can kind of have an equivalent version of that for Part Two. So it makes complete sense. But I think I'm probably gonna skip that.
We'll see, because I know you do spend that Naughty Dog money, and then you're like, whatever.
I'm so pissed about that.
Yeah. Do you think this was an announcement that was gonna be at the Game Awards and it just kind of leaked, so they,
Yeah, it
they
got
announced
leaked.
it early? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it got leaked. So then they just kind of had to come clean. So hopefully this wasn't. If this was Keely's one more thing, that would have been.
I don't think it was just one more thing, but if this is
Well,
the Naughty Dog thing, if this was a Naughty Dog thing, because last year they were like they came, Neil Druckmann came up in up on stage and he said something about factions and yeah, we're still working on it, and then he shows some concept art or whatever. So if this is the Naughty Dog thing, it's a very small thing and people aren't going to be happy.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what they show.
Big week next week.
Big. Well, no, the week after.
Oh, it's in 2 weeks. Oh yeah, Thanksgiving's next week. Sorry.
Yeah. Come on, man.
That's all right.
Or 3 weeks. It's like 3 weeks away. It's
Is
the
it?
7th, December
I don't
7th.
know, dude. I don't know what time is anymore.
Yeah,
I have
we
a
know.
9 week. I have a 9 week old kid.
Yeah,
What
that's
is
true.
time?
I think it's like 3 weeks from now. You know, I don't pay attention to time. You have a kid. I don't pay attention to time. We're horrible at a lot of things. Time is also one of them. Next thing we wanted to talk about is the Suicide Squad developer video. Rocksteady announced that they every Wednesday they're going to be doing a sort of behind the scenes look into what they're working on with Suicide Squad. They released a trailer. Well, not a trailer, but they released some gameplay, diving into the story, looking at the world and the characters of Suicide Squad, which I'm still very, very excited about. It's about 20 minutes. You can watch it on YouTube. I'll link it in the show notes so you guys can check it out. I think it looks amazing, man. Like, I'm still hyped for this game. It's definitely got the Sunset Overdrive vibes of jumping around, shooting shit, doing crazy shit, doing stunts, flying around, and it looks great. I think the way that Rocksteady has kind of adapted Metropolis to, look so much different, obviously, than Gotham City in their Arkham series, and to have that brightness and life to it, and especially with including the Justice League in there and how you'll be able to interact with them. I think it does look great. I know a lot of people have their reservations for it because, one, it's a live service game, or a quasi live service game. We still don't know exactly what it is because it'll have a battle pass and stuff like that.
It's a live service game.
All right, so it's a live service.
If the Warner Brothers CEO has anything to say about it, it's a live service game.
So it is a live service game then, according to Nick. Me, I think it's still some like in the middle. But it does look great. I think a lot of people are giving it a lot of slack because they were expecting something else, especially something akin to the Arkham series. But I do like the way they're going. Obviously, the characters in this universe are really well taken care of. You have Boomerang, Captain Boomerang. You have Deadshot. You have Harley Quinn, and then you have King Shark. So I think they're really done well. They show some of the humor in there, and the combat. And one thing that we kind of picked on when we first saw it is like how everybody was flying, kind of thing. And I think they did a good job addressing it in terms of like how you'll be able to maneuver with each character and why you're maneuvering that way, which kind of puts me at ease in terms of continuity and making sense in the world, or at least as much sense as you can have it.
Unlike Gotham Knights.
Yeah, Gotham Knights.
I feel like Gotham Knights was like, yeah, it's
robots.
People can fly.
Yeah, people can fly with robots and packs and stuff like that. But I sent a message to the group chat that I think this is definitely going to be something fun that we could do for game night, because it looks fun, like especially with all the characters, what you'll be able to do. What are your thoughts on the Suicide Squad trailer?
Yeah, so because I know I'm going to play it, I did the thing where I actually didn't watch all the video because I just don't want to I don't think there's like that many spoilers or anything in it, but I just...
Yeah, it's just like the first mission and how you get your flying stuff.
So kind of similar to other games that I know I'm hyped for, like I just don't really watch all the marketing assets just because I want to preserve as much as I can for playing the game when I have it. So I think I watched like a little bit at the beginning and just took like a couple samples of the overall video. But yeah, I think it looks great. I know for a fact we'll have fun for at least 1 or 2 weeks. Then it's a question of what is the longevity of the game. Like, does that even matter? It doesn't necessarily have to be a long game, but because they're seemingly designing it as a live service game, then you kind of call into question how much content actually is there. So that's where I'm still a little bit leery. And just like I don't know if they got into to the monetization, but I'm guessing it's like full price title and very expensive microtransactions.
Well, so they said that the new characters and story content is free. So the only thing you'll be paying for is like cosmetics, which you could do through a battle pass.
Very expensive cosmetics, or a battle, whatever it is. So to me, it's like it's the free to play monetization system on top of a full price game. Like, so
if it's $10 a season, I'm fine.
So it's basically like Diablo 4. Like it's like, oh, it's a $70 game and then $40 for horse armor.
Oh shit! I wouldn't pay that for that. But this at least to me looks fun. Whereas Diablo to me, like I don't want to be seasons of Diablo.
Yeah. Diablo's fun. I mean, so we had a good time with it. It kind of became, I honestly, I think I know there was like some bumps in the road with how they patched the game and released content over time. We had a good time with it. I think we just got like interested in other games, and there was so much like kind of negative sentiment with the state of the game, at least for me, and then I think 1 or 2 others where we're just kind of like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that, and there's other stuff that I can spend my time with because it's such a crazy year for video game releases. So, and then it doesn't seem like they've really turned the corner on, like, I don't know if they've really like brought out everyone. Like the trailer that they showed for the DLC like looked abysmal. So I don't know. So I don't.
It definitely had its bumps.
I don't want to get too deep into Diablo, but like I guess that's my. Is there a version of that happens with Suicide Squad, which is something that I'm also leery of?
Well, I think, and especially looking back at the Sony showcase that they did back in March or whatever it was, where we thought the game was going to be releasing soon. Wasn't
it like a month or 2 before the
game was supposed to? Yeah,
I think crazy.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I believe it was.
I'm sure people at Sony were like furious.
It was, I believe it was in March, and the game was supposed to release in May. And obviously, it got delayed till February of 2024. But looking back on that and looking at this, it looks so polished compared to that. If you get a chance, at least if you want to rewatch the old one, and I think it helped them. I mean, obviously it's a bit of a similar situation to Starfield with all the delays and stuff like that. But I think that the delay on this one actually has helped it because it does look more polished. I see what they're going for. They did say the city's going to be 2 times the size of Arkham. Is it Arkham Knight? Yeah, Arkham Knight that had the bigger city. So that it's you're definitely going to have a big playground to play around with. And like you said, it's more of how is it going to land. Hopefully, it doesn't have any hiccups like Diablo, especially it being a new live service game, and they want people to be in that world for a while. And their plan is to introduce more characters that would be in the Suicide Squad. And introduce more story content, so that's going to be pretty interesting to do, because you definitely with these type of games you definitely have to keep that content feed, that content well definitely full, otherwise people will get disinterested and it'll be canceled in a year. Like they'll stop supporting it in a year, so we don't want to see that, especially me, because I love the universe. I love the way it looks. The story looks interesting to me, the characters look interesting to me, so hopefully it does keep the hype up and it lives up to the hype. We'll see. It's not a stinker though. I don't think it's a stinker. I know you were saying kind of moving to a stinker.
I know you like to put words in my mouth. I never said that this game was going to be a stinker.
All right. But I think us two compared to like everybody else on the internet are really happy for this.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I'm actually surprised how positive we are on this game given all like the negative response to it.
We just know good games. We think it'll be okay. It's not as bad as people are saying.
Yeah, I think to me it's like, again, like it looks fun. I just don't know. I think I've just like accepted that it's not going to be like what we have seen from Rocksteady in the past, where it's like, oh, it's like the Batman game, but with new characters. Like it's like they're trying to do something.
Well, I think you're saying it looks fun. You're just questioning the live service part of it. That's the only part that could be questioned. And it's a valid questioning. If anybody from WB is hearing this, or anybody at Rocksteady, we support you. So if you want to let us in on some betas or something, or let us play some early builds, please. I don't think they're listening, but
or just a golden ticket to all DLC.
Yeah,
that would be.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are listening, but it doesn't hurt to try. Shoot our shot out there. All right, next thing we want to talk about is the big GTA 6 news, and that's that Rockstar announced that they will be releasing a trailer in December for GTA 6. Obviously, from the leaks that occurred, was it this year that they leaked all that stuff? Yeah, I think it was early this year, with the big leaks from all the developers.
I think that was a year ago, wasn't it?
Or a year ago?
I think that was last year. Yeah. It was a while. And,
obviously, with the leaks from that, of them getting hacked, and then all the stuff that they were working on, a lot of gameplay video getting released, early builds of the game, protagonist information and stuff like that. With Rockstar, everybody loving GTA, they did get a very positive response, with their statement. I think it was one of the most liked tweets at the time. Their statement saying that they, were sad that their work got kind of released out on the internet without it being complete. And then the announcement itself that there's going to be a trailer out in December also became like one of the fastest liked tweets, one of the highest liked tweets in Twitter history. So it's pretty interesting. I just wanted to talk about in general what we're expecting. Is it going to be like a full trailer where we'll get like 2-3 minutes of actual video gameplay and kind of story content, or you think it's just going to be a tease? And what does this mean for the release? Is it going to be releasing sometime next year? I hope it's going to be an actual full trailer. I want to see the world, obviously, from seeing what got leaked. I didn't see a lot of the stuff that got leaked because I didn't want to, like you said, I didn't want to spoil myself with stuff like this. I try to avoid it until I can experience it myself. But I do want to see it polished. Obviously, Rockstars are grade A when it comes to storytelling. We've seen it from all the GTA entries. We've seen it from Bully. We've seen it from the Red Dead entries. So I'm excited to see how this goes, especially because they're also very in tune with whatever's going on in the world. So they'll always sprinkle some stuff that's going on in the world into their games. And obviously with how popular GTA Online is. I wonder if there's going to be any mention of that in there. Which, thinking about it now, I don't think they'll mention any of that, because why would you? But these are the hopes, and obviously, as far as release, I think if they're ready to show a trailer, that I think that release is imminent, more like maybe in the summer of 2024. What do you think we're gonna get out of this trailer?
I think it'll be a full trailer, so we'll see some story, gameplay, all the good stuff. And their trailers are always amazing, so I feel like it's going to be one of those. It's not just going to be like a countdown to a trailer or anything like that. So I think it's the real deal. I think it's the opening into the Game Awards. I think
they're gonna save it for that?
I think the Game Awards opens with this.
Oh, I don't think so. Just because they wouldn't.
You think they're gonna do their own thing?
Yeah, because they always do their own thing. They never really like hop on somebody else's stream or whatever, or developer stuff and announce stuff there.
The Game Awards came out. The Game Awards didn't start until after Grand Theft Auto 5, right?
Yeah. And I think, was it 5? I think 5 got announced. No, not 5, but I think the remaster or whatever, or the release for PS4 was announced at a Sony thing, but not like an official.
The debut of the PlayStation 5 opened with the GTA 5 like remaster, or just a version for it. For PS5,
yeah, they're too popular. They don't want to.
That's I don't know. Like the having a version of the game on that platform is different than the next installment. So, yeah, I feel like they could very easily do their own thing. Like I could see them doing that, but I feel like with the Game Awards, like it feels too coincidental that they would say you're going to hear something in early December or whatever, which is exactly when the Game Awards are.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting.
I think because they've revealed it, like I don't think it's going to be like a one more thing, the end of the Game Awards, because that's more like a surprise type thing as opposed to something people expect. So, I don't know. So it's just that's definitely going to be on my bingo board. If I'm wrong, I'm like it's just something I think fun that could happen. But yeah, I think it's going to be really good, and we should see the game, towards the back half of next year would be my expectation.
You're thinking back half? I'm thinking summer. It's Vice City, and isn't it? It's supposed to be Vice City apparently. So summer, hot times, but also the holidays are also a good seller. So yeah, it's great to have a blockbuster in the holidays.
Yeah, and I'm sure a truckload of people are, but I'm very excited about this. I recently played. I played a lot of GTA 5, like when it first came out, and then I don't know why. I think before Cyberpunk, I just had this like itch to play the game because it's like kind of comparable, certain elements of it. So I just had this itch to get back into GTA 5. So I recently completed it. Like it was like maybe a month or so before Cyberpunk initially launched. So it's still pretty fresh. The game holds up I think remarkably well. There's a little bit of I think jank in some of the stuff, but it's like actually a pretty old game, which a lot of people forget. So I'm really eager to see like what they do with a clean slate. And they just always push things to the next level. So I think there's a lot of really high expectations with what we're going to see in this trailer. So yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, that was my only big regret, especially with GTA 5, was that I didn't play it enough, I think, and I didn't play it enough with a group, because I always liked the heist and the concept of the heist, planning it out and doing all that stuff. But we never got a group, never really got a group. maybe now we'll get a group. If anybody is hearing this and they want to do Grand Theft Auto heist, let us know.
That could be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun content, and
I think
good enough
like
stuff.
half of the human race owns a copy of the game.
Yeah, there you go.
It's probably a high likelihood that everyone hasn't.
All right, so we'll see. We'll be looking forward to that. And if it's at the Game Awards, then you can experience it with us because we will be streaming that. So check that out. And then the last news we want to talk about is that Nintendo announced a live-action Zelda movie. Very, very interesting news. This one just kind of came out of nowhere. We knew that they were working on something, but the fact that they announced it, especially directly from Nintendo, and that it's a live-action Zelda, that was the other thing. I know everybody on the internet, their go-to joke was like, "Oh, so Chris Pratt is gonna be playing Link," which was funny. I made that joke. I think I was the first one to make that joke, so congrats to me.
Everyone.
Yeah, it was sad to see that's what everybody wants.
Everyone had a Chris Pratt comment on.
Yeah. But this is very
it's bad when even I don't say something like that because it's already too tired. So.
Well, he's Garfield.
I love beating a dead horse, but even that was.
Don't be dead horses, people.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just everywhere, man. He's Garfield. He's Mario. He wants to be Link. He has a good agent. But yeah, live action Zelda. I have mixed feelings about this just because it's tough, man. It's tough to see your beloved characters from video games kind of, be brought into the world to the masses. It's tough to see them and fear that it's not going to succeed. Obviously, Nintendo is very, very particular about their IPs. So I'm pretty sure they'll, it's going to be a good product. But a live action Zelda is tough to do. The Zelda world is, I think it's, if not my favorite, it's one of my favorite worlds. The whole lore, the characters. Link to the Past is one of my favorite games. It was one of my first games that I ever played, and just that nostalgia. It's gonna be tough to see, obviously, especially who they cast to play Zelda and Link and Ganon. It's gonna be an interesting ride. Hopefully they do it justice. And the internet's gonna be flaming people. So we'll see how this goes. What were your thoughts when you first heard about this?
I have a scoop on.
You have a scoop
playing Link. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
I've heard.
Pressing button scoop.
I've heard that it's Michael Cera. I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Michael Cera was great in Scott Pilgrim. So
there you go.
Yeah.
He's too old now, maybe.
Yeah, he's a bit too old.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't have any. I'm excited to see how Nintendo exploits its IP in TV films. So I would have loved to see, which I know is like probably never going to happen, but I would have loved to see a Studio Ghibli take on, so like basically a Miyazaki film, but Legend of Zelda, which, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I think, take a lot of inspiration from Studio Ghibli. So that would have been my match made in heaven as like, what would I want from a Zelda TV film property? But I don't know. I think there's definitely like with Game of Thrones, and I think like live action fantasy is becoming more popular, so it could be cool. It's going to be like, I think they probably go with like an unknown, someone lesser known.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go
Link.
I don't think they're gonna go like super Hollywood star young person.
I think they go someone lesser known for Link, someone more known for Zelda, maybe the most known as like Ganondorf or something. So I don't know. That's going to be a tough adaptation to crack. But as we've talked about a lot in our, basically over the last year or so of this podcast, I think the quality of game adaptations have, I think, skyrocketed. So hopefully it's more in line with some of those adaptations versus, something that's not so great.
All right.
It's not based on the CDI games. Do you remember those?
Yeah. No, but that was my next question. With the Zelda timeline being so different and there being so many iterations of the games, which do you think that they're going to be adapting? Do you think it's going to be something like Breath of the Wild, or they'll do something like A Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time? My money, I think I would say Ocarina of Time would kind of be the most sensible one, because it's kind of more the most interesting story, where you can kind of make it, commercial type of thing, and it's also one of the best ones. Obviously can't do like Wind Waker or something. If you were doing Wind Waker, might as well would have just done animation. Which one do you think will be adapted, or which one would you like to see get adapted?
I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah,
Are you talking more from like an
story.
aesthetic perspective?
No,
or like the actual
storyline.
storyline?
Like storyline. Because I think Breath of the Wild's just the scope on that is, it was a game about exploration, not necessarily the story of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Zelda's. This is going to be the challenge with the adaptation, right? Like, the stories are nothing too. They're like a little bit more sophisticated than like the Mario games, but they're like, and maybe there's like time travel and stuff like that involved, but like they're nothing too crazy. So like I can't even really think of
but like Twilight Princess
story...
is good too.
Yeah, I don't know. Without like overthinking it, I would just throw out Ocarina of Time, just because that's my favorite Zelda game. So
yeah, I think that would make
seeing a take on that would be cool. But yeah, I don't know. They might like. I don't know if you've ever seen someone like try to map out the Zelda timeline. Like they might even just be like, we're just gonna
do its own thing.
We're just gonna have a cinematic timeline and just like leverage the characters and leverage some of the themes from the other stories, but like not try to like one-to-one recreate any of the games. Like they like have to do that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and then the other interesting thing will be is Link will talk, because Link has never talked. So
what if he doesn't talk?
Oh, that would be a great cinematic choice.
then it's Ryan Gosling would be the best choice.
There you go. Then you don't need people to talk. But yeah, that does it for all the news that we want to talk about. Some pretty interesting stuff. Hopefully you guys agree. Let us know what you guys think. You can check it out on Discord. Let us know what you guys think on it, or make some comments on the podcast and let us know. We're going to move on to some closing thoughts. I will start it off. Finished up Arkham Asylum. I know us talking about the last couple of weeks, talking about Spider-Man and superhero games and all that stuff. I told you I got the itch to play some Batman. I ended up buying the collection, the Game of the Year collection, where I got all 3 games. Finish up Arkham Asylum. Obviously, it holds up really well. The combat, the story, the characters, the gameplay, it's a reason why it won a Game of the Year when it got released. Such a great game. I did go straight into Arkham City, and I regretted that immediately. Playing it's like you eating too much of a good thing.
That's also after beating Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah, after beating Spider-Man 2. So it's like I got too fatigued. I was like, what am I doing? So I played
your poor X button must just be destroyed.
My square button, man. It's my square button.
Oh, your square button. Yeah, whatever.
Because I have a dual sense. Okay. But yeah, I played 2 hours, and I was like, I don't want to play this. But not because it's not good. It's just I'm too fatigued from video game.
I don't want to be around anymore.
So I'm putting Arkham City on the back burner for a little bit. I'll play something else. There's still a lot of good games out there that I haven't played or finished for the year. So I'm pretty sure I'll find something, and then I'll go back into it. And like I said, I feel like Arkham City was the best one of the 3, just because it improved so much on what the first one had, and it opened up the world. So I'm excited to get into it. I just not right after Arkham Asylum, so I'll put that in the back burner. I've watched Worlds this morning. I was up at 3 a.m, eating some burritos and watching Worlds.
What's the burrito count?
It was 2 burritos. I ate 2 burritos at 3 a.m. Yes.
And these are full size
burritos.
Street cart burritos.
Yeah. I hadn't done it in a while. I went to my favorite burrito spot in Harlem. I got two full-size steak burritos. They're amazing, man. They're amazing. And then I watched Worlds. It was the final. It was Weibo Gaming versus T1. As everybody knows, if you've heard me talk about it here on the podcast, I'm a big T1 fan. I like Faker. He's their mid laner. He's one of the top players. He's been at it for 10 years. And T1 won. They won Worlds. That was my prediction. That they were gonna win. It was last year they lost at the finals. They lost 3-2, so that kind of sucked. But it was great to see them win it this year, especially because it was the same players. It's hard for these esports teams to kind of keep the same core players. But it was the same team that lost last year. They were able to win it this year. They played a lot. I think they were one of the teams that played the most together, the most games together. And I think this was their last time that they were all going to be playing together. So it was good to see them win. It was amazing. It was Faker's 4th title. His first one was 10 years ago, and then his third one was like 7 years ago. So it's good to see him win the titles. It's tough, man. Watching these championships, especially in esports, it's tough to get back to the top. Just like any regular sports, it's tough to get to the top and win it again. But it was a great series, even though it was a sweep 3-0. But I enjoyed it. Really, really good time. And then as far as TV, I watched Loki. I don't know if I told you that. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Did you finish it up?
No. I haven't watched season 2. I did watch season 1 though.
You haven't seen any of season 2?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I watched it because as the episodes were coming out, the reviews were getting better and better. So I decided to watch it, especially because it's short. It's only 6 episodes. And I will say it is one of the better Marvel shows. I think the story that it told it really well. Definitely much more character development for Loki. I think they closed it out really well. I don't want to spoil too much because I think you'll get a good kick out of it when you do watch it. I know you do want to see it. And we both enjoyed season 1. We just didn't have any faith because of the Marvel shows that they've been pumping out and movies. But I think they did right. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've probably seen some shit on the internet because it's the
I've
internet.
seen lots of like Kang things, so I didn't dig in too much, but I've seen some stuff floating around.
Yeah, I think when you do end up watching it, I think you'll be satisfied with the season.
Okay,
it's good Marvel. And then as far as movies, I watched The Creator, which was a movie starring John David Washington about robots. And I had been hearing about this movie. It looked good. It's up my alley, sci-fi stuff, robots, the future kind of thing. And then I watched the movie and I'm like, this movie sucks. I mean, it looks good. It looks real good, but it sucked. It's like, he's tasked with saving this one robot child that has these powers. And I was like, man, this movie looks so good, but it sucks. And then it just reminded me of The Golden Child. This is, I'm a big fan of 80s movies, especially 80s Eddie Murphy. So it reminded me of The Golden Child that he was in the 80s. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch The Golden Child to kind of cleanse my palate of this horrible Creator movie. And I was right. It was definitely much better. The Creator is basically The Golden Child, but sucks. Because it's also the same concept. Because in The Golden Child, he's kind of trying to find this Tibetan kid who has powers. And then in this one, the kid is like Vietnamese or something that has powers. So it's kind of like the same thing. Go watch Golden Child. Don't watch The Creator. Or if you watch The Creator, go watch Golden Child so that way you'll be better for it.
Was that a catalyst to then just watch a ton of Eddie Murphy movies?
No, because it was too late. By the time I finished watching The Creator, it was like 11.
That's what happens to me, because then I'm like, now I want to watch Trading Places. Now I want to watch
48 Hours.
So
many Eddie Murphy movies. So I was gonna go on a roll, but I was like, oh, it's too late, because I watched The Creator and I finished at 11. I was like, I need to watch The Golden Child. And back in the day, the movies were long. Because they were just like, let's just make them long for no reason. These days movies are like an hour and 20 minutes or some shit like that. But I will definitely get my fill of Eddie Murphy movies, especially one of my favorite holiday movies is Trading Places. So
Coming to America is another classic.
exactly, oof, Eddie Murphy, 80s Eddie
Damn.
Murphy. Just I wish I was alive. Well, I was alive. I was just a baby in '87. So
Yeah.
what about you, man? What you been up to?
I think exclusively playing Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, which I think for the first time got the title right.
Yeah, the full title.
That's tough. That's tough. So I bought that at launch because I was hearing generally positive things. As I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of the Yakuza franchise, but I've had some challenges with the Kiryu leading game, which is almost all of them. But I would play those games and get kind of like bored by the combat system. It just kind of became a little bit too fatiguing for me. So I had some reservations with the latest installment leading with Kiryu. But then they said that there's going to be a demo for Infinite Wealth, which stars Ichiban, who's the protagonist for like Yakuza 7.
Yeah,
Like
it's
a Dragon?
7. It's 7 when they switch the name to Like a Dragon.
The
The naming fucks us
is
up.
unbelievable, dude. It's like, and I don't think I'm like a dumb person, and like I can't. It's like I can't keep track of all this shit.
Well, they
so,
definitely think the American people are dumb because the reason it's called Yakuza is because the literal translation of the name is Like a Dragon, but they were like, oh, Americans are dumb. Let's just call it Yakuza. And then they love the Yakuza.
I don't know. But I'm getting there. So anyway, I was more interested in playing the demo, but in order to play the demo, you have to beat The Man Who Erased His Name. But I had a good time. I played it for like 25-ish, like 20 something hours. It's just a fun game. I think they've done enough stuff with the combat system. Like particularly like the agent, there's like a typical fighting style, the Yakuza style, and then there's like the agent style. And the agent style is I think really good for like crowd control when you're just like dealing with like a lot of different people. And I think that's why I would get like so annoyed with prior installments, is you're just like constantly in these like battles with like 10 people, and you have to like they like take forever.
Punching each dog.
Punching the shit out of people. So I think it was I was like more entertained by the agent, combat style. And then also I didn't play the main story at all for the first 10 hours. Like I was just like crushing side quests. So I also became like very like I wouldn't say like I was completely overpowered, but I was definitely like very strong. So I was able to like work through the battles like in a like pretty comfortably. So I feel like with those two things, I had a really like pleasant experience with the combat. And then of course I love like everything else about it, with like all the mini games, missions. The characters are all entertaining. I thought the story was like really good. So yeah, it didn't feel like I was forced to complete this game just so I could play this demo. Like I had a really enjoyable time. And that was like basically pretty late last night. So I dabbled with the Infinite Wealth demo for like 10 minutes, and then I was like too tired. But I think either later today or tomorrow I'll fire that up and check that out.
Nice. I think
and just like the 10 minutes of Infinite Wealth that I played is like it looks awesome, dude. Just everything is beefed up. Like the combat system, like the traversal. There's a mechanic in there where you're rewarded for talking to strangers or interacting with strangers, and I'm like,
that's you.
They gotta call that the Hugo mechanic.
Yeah, that's you and me. Yeah, just talk to everybody.
That's not me at all. That's all you, dude.
Tell me what you got.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks good. So there was definitely, even though I only played like 10 minutes of it, I'm like, okay, this is, because there was part of me that was questioning because I play the games, like one of the big draws of the games is like you're like in Japan and walking around the city, and so this takes place in Hawaii, and you're kind of like, oh, is that going to be, like, is the game going to lose anything by like not having it be focused in Tokyo or Osaka or whatever? And I don't think that's going to be the case at all. Like it looks like it's going to be just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. One of these days, I have Yakuza 7, the first Like a Dragon. Yeah, that name fucks it up. Just to remember.
Well, why did they have to make the subtitle of one game be
the name
like,
of
it? They could have just. And to me, like, I feel like they did that because it was like a nod to Dragon Quest, but I don't know. Like, it's just very confusing.
But yeah, I have that one on PlayStation Plus. So one of these days I'll take a gander at it. And great costume idea. One day you could be Ichiban and I'll be Kiryu. So that'd be good. Maybe next year.
You gotta give me like a 4-month head start so I can make sure that my hair gets.
Yeah, you gotta get your hair right.
And we have to get the actual tattoos.
Ooh, those are good. Yeah, I'm gonna get a dragon on my back.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else?
No, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I was playing, the game just came out, so, and I have finite game time, so I feel pretty proud that I was able to get through.
I was surprised you went through that.
Yeah.
Well, good on you.
I feel pretty good. Like since having a child, I've completed Spider-Man 2 and Like a Dragon Gaiden. So
yeah, who said you can't have kids and also game?
Yeah. As someone who struggles to complete games, I feel pretty proud.
I feel like the baby has put pressure on you. I feel like the baby has put pressure on you to finish games. It's like, all right, you have finite time, so you have to beat this.
Well, I feel like the other. I mean, maybe there's something there, but also, yeah, like I need to like more manage my time. I also feel like just there's always this like next huge game like coming up, so it kind of gives you this added pressure to be like, okay, well, I want to like wrap this up so that I can play the next thing. Whereas,
well,
and it might sound counterintuitive, but like if nothing is coming, you feel like you have all the time in the world, and then you get like more distracted and whatever. I feel like the crowded year of game releases has also like added some pressure to complete games.
Yeah, and 2024 is starting off strong with some Final Fantasy 7.
And Infinite Wealth.
And Suicide Squad. All right.
And Last of Us.
Ooh, God, I hope it's another banger year, but we'll see on that one because they really haven't announced anything for 2024. All right. Well, that does it for us. Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget, go to our website, pressingbuttons.gg, so you could get access to our Discord and also our YouTube channel where you can check out all of our content. And also, don't forget, no episode next week. Make sure you catch up on all of our older episodes so you can hear the good stuff that we always provide. And we will be doing the live stream for the Game Awards December 7th, so make sure you guys check that out. And we have a special surprise. We will be giving, Pressing Buttons will be giving away Madden NFL 24 Deluxe Edition for PS5 or PS4. So if you guys show up, you get that. Well, somebody will get that. Not everybody will get that.
Where did this come from?
I got a code. So I
don't remember approving that in our.
No, I got a code
in our podcast budget.
Don't worry about it. The money gets handled. But yeah, show up. Support the podcast, join the stream, have some fun, and you might win Madden if that's what you like. So we'll see. We'll see you there. All right. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick Later.